We are here. We are back. It's Pluggo's PLE, and I gotta say, I started this a few months back because I was like, I'd like to do some more stuff, and I want to do the. I was like, I'll take on the PLEs, the post shows, so we had something going on here. I can tell you, all these people in the chat are not here to see me. I don't think there's one person in that chat here to see me. They're here to see my guest, the one, the only, the absolute fantastic Tyler Wrestles. What is up, Tyler?
I'm doing great. Just watched a pretty dang good pay-per-view. A few weird spots, but we'll get into those. But
we definitely will.
It was really good. It was a good time. So I like the afternoon pay-per-views.
I do too. I like it. I will say this though. This was the last PLE on the Peacock era for the main roster. And boy, did they say, man, give us a few extra hours, because it went 4 hours. Usually last year's Clash went 2:45, nice and tight. Yep. We were done and out. This one dragged on a little bit, but we can talk about it. We got Squad 51 in the house. Shimmery's in the house saying, here for Tyler. Here from Tyler. That's what Lawrence is in the house. Joe's in the house. And here from Tyler Wrestles. I appreciate all the Tyler Wrestle fans coming to hang out. Mrs. Pluggo's in the chat, the one, the only, my love of my life, waiting for me to get done because we got Notre Dame football on the horizon today. That's what I was saying. I was like, WWE, listen, Notre Dame Miami's at 7:30. Are we going to get done with this paper? What are we doing here today? But that is okay. Chris Parrish is in the house saying, what's up, Pluggo? Sandy's in the house. We got Spencer Love in the house saying, give me AJ Lee. You know what? Because it's my name on the masthead here on this little show, we have a new official power couple in the WWE. Becky Lynch is the plan B. What'd you think about that?
Well, we were talking about it in my chat the whole time we were doing the live stream, and I don't think anybody even thought of this, which is kind of surprising, but I like it. And if it leads us to an AJ Lee return, I'm all for it, because that has been the big return that we have not gotten yet in the WWE. And since I'm just going to throw this out there, they're going up against AEW that day, that could pull some viewers. I know AEW fans that love her, and they could be. They might tune in and tune out of either show to watch that return. I'm just saying, I could feel it, but we'll see.
AJ Lee has become the new CM Punk return, right? Every time there's an opportunity, and I've always like the way Becky always talks about Seth in promos. I'm like, I just wish they would just link them up, make it happen. Why not? But I never thought tonight would be the night we would see it happen. She helps her hot husband retain World Heavyweight Champion. We'll dive into that a little bit later here. Zach Minger says happy National Eat Outside and National South Carolina Day. Now I will be eating outside at a Notre Dame party here in a little bit. South Carolina's playing right now. I think they're playing Virginia Tech. They were winning last I checked. But yeah, Sandy's saying that AJ Lee is the biggest draw. So if you're in the chat, let us know which match you like the most, your MVPs of the nights, moments of the nights. We'll definitely bring them up. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, share this live out, tell all your friends to come join Tyler and I, as well as if you're feeling generous and you want to help out the amazing content creators here at Love Wrestling, a super chat is always appreciated. That'll guarantee a statement or question or comment gets read on the air as long as it is respectful and within good taste. We keep it classy here at Love Wrestling, folks.
Yeah.
Try to anyway. But like I said, Paris, I thought this stage looked amazing. It was a fantastic way they built with the Eiffel Tower there. I think it really popped with the Becky Lynch entrance especially. But that was kind of cool. I like seeing I'm liking them seeing the different ring setups. What do you think?
No, I'm glad they're doing something different, because, for the longest time there, it was just the same thing every single time. And now they're actually giving them a little bit of their own unique flair. And that's what I love from my childhood, because we always had weird, crazy setups for pay-per-views back in the day. And I'm glad we're kind of bringing a little bit of that back. And it just makes it more special. I guess that's the way I think of it when I see stuff like that. That means they actually care. They're not just trying to throw things out there and make a buck, like they are trying to make a buck all the time. So
it was really cool to see. I liked the entrance setup, and then I loved the shot at the beginning where they did the flag in the crowd with the cards. Everybody in the section. I thought that was a really cool touch. I like seeing that. I like seeing it's almost become, especially in the international PLEs. like it's almost become like one-upsmanship of each show is like, well, I'm gonna outdo this show, I'm gonna outdo this show in terms of crowd, interaction and just overall vibe. And I think tonight Paris absolutely slayed it. So good on them. Us in the States, we got to catch up, man. Some of them shows you can go to in them States, it's a little quiet, but
it's very stale.
we start. It can be very stale. I don't know if we're just spoiled, if that's what it is, but we can be stale. But we started off the night as it was reported yesterday or earlier today. Somebody that Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed. I say it like I forgot, but there was a lot of this thing took an hour. This thing took the full first hour of the show. It was not the match itself, but Bronson Reed takes on Roman Reigns, the Shuafala, the tribal chief. It was what I expected it to be. It was Bronson Reed pretty much in control most of the match. Not really knowing what to do. Roman Reigns not really knowing what to do with Bronson, which I kind of expected. Bronson Reed decides to. Here's what I don't understand. Like, you're mocking an absolute legend who had who don't do that. He spent too much time mocking Roman Reigns, and he ultimately ends up taking a loss here.
Yeah, I actually,
is that what we wanted to see happen?
I thought Bronson would win in my predictions, and I knew Roman was going to get. We all knew Roman was going to get beat up because he's going to film Street Fighter or whatever they say, supposedly. But I don't know why you're making him to be this big giant bully, and then you're making him lose to Roman Reigns, or at least lose cleanly. I mean, if you're going to do something, have Braun Breaker come out earlier, have him interfere, have something happen that makes it not as clean, or I mean, even beat Roman with Braun Breaker's assistant. It don't matter because we already know that's going to happen. And then Braun Breaker comes out later, and I'm like, we're going to do this after the match. And it was kind of weird because, I mean, we haven't really got into the aftermath, but in the aftermath, then after Roman's been beat up to a pulp, Jay comes out late. They beat up Jay. I'm like, why are all these guys coming in after?
We can talk about it.
Yeah. I don't know. It was.
I don't
weird,
have to do it. We don't do it. I don't do a traditional post show here where it's got to be everything's got to be broken down to a T, because I just go based on vibes. And my vibe was, if you were gonna, I've always said, like, give me Bronson Reed in this group, make him strong, right? Like they did this at SummerSlam, where I thought they should have wanted the tag match. And then tonight, given what we saw in the main event, we just talked about Becky Lynch. Could you imagine? Oh, they just took out Roman Reigns. Now they got Becky Lynch in the fold. How crazy we'd be like, okay, who's going to stop the group? So they give Bronson a win, whether it's clean, whether it's dirty, and then we go, oh, shoot, this dude's a real player. Instead, he loses clean after dominating most of the match in a Roman Reigns comeback fashion. And then Roman's out there, takes his shoe, takes back his, or Paul Heyman like gives him his shoes. He chokes out Paul Heyman. He's got his shoes back. He stands on top of the announce table, signs these sneakers, and Braun Breaker just comes out of nowhere, spears. It looked cool, but I'm like, this is taking forever. By the way, I looked at the clock. They didn't lock up and start wrestling till like 20 minutes into the show.
No, it was a very, very, very slow start to the show. And then the ending after that match was over was taking forever. And it's just like, I honestly, I think we should have had the tag team match before that, because that actually kept moving and things were happening. Yep. And then we had the slow pace, super long match, and it just, it was like, okay, are we gonna get going? Is this thing gonna happen? And it kind of killed the vibe for a while there. It got good towards the end of the match, and then it was fun for a little bit while they were beating him up, in my opinion. And then after that, I'm like, okay, let's go on to the next thing. That's how I felt.
Yeah, I get that. Like, I get Roman Reigns is like an all-timer badass dude where you just like, it's going to take a lot to keep him down. But after like the 17th tsunami, and I'm obviously being exaggerative for theatrical sense, I was like, all right, we get it. He's in a stretcher. He's beat down. He's done. I mean, like, I get you got to write him off TV for the movie, but if he's going to be gone anyway, like, I don't think anybody's going to go, oh man, Roman Reigns lost that match to Bronson Reed and he's back. What a bum. Like, I think we would have been like, okay, it made sense. But they essentially take him out. Then Jay comes out and he's in the match later on. So he's got a main event opportunity. And that's one of my things with Jay Uso that I kind of that bothers me is like, I know that you love to help everybody, and Michael Cole said it on commentary, family first, but this is a big match. You need to be at 100%.
Exactly.
Where's Jimmy? Where's the other, who's out? There's got to be somebody else that'll help Roman. Cody was not available. Yeah. He probably would have did it if he wasn't if he was available tonight. But
based on Roman's advice the other night, Roman would have been, "Hey, don't come out and help me.
Yeah,
you got to focus on yourself and your match."
Exactly. So then he gets banged up because he gets speared by Breaker, and then after all this goes down, Adam Pearce is absolutely furious. He is sweating. He's yelling. He was sweating a lot more than normal. And he basically tells Breaker and Braun that they are gone. They're out of here. If they come back, even in the slightest, they are suspended indefinitely. And he basically kicked them out in their ring gear and everything. They didn't get a chance to get their bags. And I don't know who got their bags for them because Paul Heyman was at the hospital too. So Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are just walking the streets of Paris right now in ring gear. So if you're hanging out in Paris, go check them out. You know what I'm saying? Like that was super weird to me.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. Wow.
But overall, it was a long hour.
It was,
and I think it was Jimmy from the Q tweeted, it's pretty bold of them to do the last hour of Raw for the first hour of a PLE, because that's kind of what we see every night on Raw, is that exact setup. So it was kind of like, I don't know. I think we had to come up with a different way to do that, but I digress. I could go on about it for days. What do we got? And somebody said, do you think there'll be a group for War Games? Yeah, I think there's going to end up, this is going to end up leading to a War Games scenario of some type. Now with Becky in the Visions fold, it would have been cool to see Naomi, but she's out pregnant, which is great for her. Yeah. But maybe that would have been a cool thing, have a mixed War Games match. I don't know if they've done that. I'm not the statistician. Not that I can think of, but it would have been kind of cool. So we get that. That was cool. Now we're finally, I was like, all right, now we're in. Here we go. We got the Street Profits taking on the Wyatt Six. Now, did you watch any of the pre-show?
I didn't get to watch the pre-show. No, I had something going on, so I didn't get in until it was about 15 minutes before the show. So did they have something happen then? Or I know the Street Profits are kind of feuding.
There was a backstage with Jackie Redmond just talking, and BFAB did most of the talking. And it's like about the 8 years you guys have done this, BFAB basically saying, like, we don't care if it's 4 hours or 48 hours, we're prepared at all times. Dawkins kind of reiterated it, but very short answer reiterated it, and Montez didn't say a word.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, and then of course commentary's trying to play it up as he means business. He's ready to go. Some are saying, oh, maybe there's some distension here, but they take on the Wyatt Six. They come out in Borderlands gear, which I don't know if you're familiar. If you come out in video game mascot gear, you lose. That's
never good.
That's never a good sign. So this match, like you said, kind of picked up the pace. There was something happening at all times. Like, they kept the movement going, the constant movement. The Wyatt Six number games ultimately get the best of the Street Profits as Nikki Cross gets involved and Uncle Howdy is on the sides. What did you happen to think about this tag team match? Because we have and still tag team champions, the Wyatt Six.
It pretty much went the way I thought it was going to go. I pretty much figured the Wyatt should retain, and I know, like I said, I didn't see that thing before, but I mean, they kind of were hitting the other night about the Street Profits possibly finally breaking up after all this time that people have been thinking they're going to break up. Because so many people want to see Montez get a push. But you know what? Dawkins has come a long way, too. And I wouldn't mind seeing either of them get a push as singles. But that being said, it was pretty much what I thought. It was a lot of you got a lot of those high-risk moves. You got a lot of fun stuff to see. And with Uncle Howdy getting involved, I figured that would happen, and that's how they'd win. And it was kind of cool. I like seeing Rowan get involved, because I feel like Rowan doesn't get involved much anymore. He just stands in the background, and he actually did something tonight, which was nice. So, and even Nikki too. I mean, either one of them have kind of just been background players while the other guys tag. So, but no, it was pretty much what I thought, and I really wanted to see him wrestle in the nut cups with the spikes on it, though. But that's the one thing I missed about from the Borderlands gear.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't. Sometimes I forget Eric Rowan is a part of the White Six, and it's not because I don't. It's just they don't do a ton with him. He's more there for aesthetic purposes. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of this match, that was my first thought. Was okay. What do we do with the Street Profits now? For a long time, we've all, like you said, we've all said that it's Montez is the next guy, right? Montez has main event star, and then they just never seem to pull the trigger on him. I don't know who turns it. Back when this first started, like this first chatter about Montez becoming, single star, that I thought it was going to be Dawkins that would turn on him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we see Montez turn. I heel Montez, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, they take another big loss in another big spot, and it's just like, and I know that there were shenanigans to it, so it's not all on them. But the match was cool. They look good. They still got it as a tag team. They just keep coming up short. So what do you think is next for them?
I think the split's coming, and I kind of feel like Montez might be the one turning, just because, like that one that what was that in the ring they did that like they popped up and power slammed him, and Montez kind of got in there and just like one handed it, and Dawkins kind of looked at him like, what the hell, man? You're taking my glory here. You're doing what? I mean, it's like it wasn't done right, but it feels like Montez was trying to spoil what Dawkins was doing when they made that little stare down. But I definitely think they're splitting up. I don't, like I said, I think Montez is going to be the one to turn. But
Yeah,
honestly, if it goes either way, I think it'll be interesting just to see what they both can do on their own. And like I said, years ago, I wouldn't have thought Dawkins could do much, but like I said, I really feel like he's improved so much. I feel like he could be sneaky good in certain things, and they could definitely insert him into certain storylines that could be kind of fun as far as that goes.
and hey, listen, if we're gonna get into this era of WWE power couples, Bianca Belair and Montez Ford would be one heck of a duo, in
That
my
would be
opinion.
cool.
I would
That would
be
be really cool.
if we're gonna go down that route. Like I would be happy. Bring Maurice back, get the Miz going. Why not?
Oh yeah,
Why not? If
I'd be all for it.
Adam Copeland ever leaves AEW and decides to get Beth Phoenix, we'll have a little tournament of
Yeah.
wrestling couples. I would be in on that. There's got to be more that I'm not thinking about, but in the chat, if you know of any other wrestling power couples that you think should be in our tournament that we just decided was going to happen, please let us know.
Well, we could have Buddy Matthews come over.
There it is. Yep. See, I knew I was forgetting something. Is he still injured?
That'd be good.
I know
he's still injured, but I think he's getting close.
Yeah, I think he is getting close. I think I saw that. Yeah. So there you go, Buddy. Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. See, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of them you don't think of all.
I would say John Cena and Nikki Bella. Maybe but no, he definitely has his wife was out there today, so we're not going to ever see that payoff of that WrestleMania engagement or whatever it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of which, Lana and Liv Morgan Cradle. That's a great shout.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nikki Bella, she is challenging Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. This is a legendary diva who's a Hall of Famer. I don't stand for any Nikki Bella slander. I think she's absolutely underappreciated. This is what I wanted when they introduced these mid-card titles, was to see some of these older generation women's wrestlers come back and challenge for these, saying the things like, hey, we never got these opportunities when I was, wrestling, but I did lay the groundwork for you to get these opportunities. This match was what I thought it was going to be. Nikki Bella's showing us as she still got it. That was, trying to hang with Becky Lynch. But at the end of the day, Becky Lynch retains. No shocker, I think, to anybody. This card, I'm going to tell you right now, there's not a lot of shocking moments of like upset wins or anything. It's pretty cut and dry. And this was one of them where Becky Lynch gets the win.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed the match. I think there were definitely a few kind of sloppy moments. Obviously, Nikki missing that kick, which I don't know if that was on Nikki or if that was on Becky not getting back turned around in time. But
yeah,
that was definitely an obvious. I'm like, oh shit, I bet that wasn't supposed to happen. But other than that, I mean, overall, it was a fun match. It definitely was entertaining, and it was what you thought it would. Like you said, like you basically thought it would be. We all knew Becky wasn't going to lose, and I think Nikki definitely showed up that she's still got, like you said, still got some moves and still can do some stuff. And I thought it was kind of entertaining. I'm kind of curious where they're going to go with if with Nikki from here, if she's sticking around, like what's her next thing? Because it sounds like she's going to be around still. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see where that goes because obviously we know Becky, based on later things that happen, might have a little bit of something to do.
And that was this was one of those sneaky matches where I thought, okay, if you were gonna pull a surprise, this would be the surprise and give it to Nikki. And I only based it on the fact that now that Naomi is out, there's a hole in that championship division. Maybe you could slot Becky up there and get her in the mix and figure that out. Ultimately, I think it was the right call. There was one spot I was watching this match with my son. My second oldest son, who doesn't really watch a ton of wrestling. My youngest one gets into it pretty heavy, but he doesn't really watch. And he was like, "Dad, she's not even hitting her head on the table." And I'm like,
"Yeah."
And I looked at her, and I looked at him, and I went, "I know." But yeah, there was a couple of spots that just I don't know if it's a matter of ring rust for Nikki because she hasn't wrestled a ton, or it's just a matter of timing, chemistry issues with her and Becky. Ultimately, they figured it out. They figured it out overall, and I'm not going to look at this match and go 5-star classic by any stretch, but I wasn't disappointed.
No, I think a little bit it was the chemistry and ring wrestling, like you said, and all that. But I think also, I feel like the WWE production tonight team had some horrible timing and miscues on different things, and we'll get to one later in a later match. But I just feel like they were something was off a little bit as far as their timing with cameras and getting angles right and all that stuff. Because they just had some weird things happen that you normally don't see in a WWE production. I thought, but
yeah. Joe said he thinks Nikki did well, and hey, I don't think I think if she's gonna be back more in a full-time role, then she's gonna start getting her legs under her a little bit more, and I think she'll be fine. Like you said, I don't know what's necessarily next for her in the landscape of the women's division, but I'm sure they'll find something for her to do. There's plenty of opportunities coming up, as we learned. They have all sorts of shows just popping off. They announced another Worlds Collide. They got WrestlePalooza. War Games is coming up. I'm sure they got a few more things they're going to slide in there, but it just never stops. It never stops. I don't know how you do it, man.
Yeah. It's you got to learn. You got to take a break sometimes. That's how it works.
So that is fair. So then we move into, for my money, the most consistent, I don't know how to word it. I don't want it to sound bad, but if I needed a 20-minute, I know that two guys are going to go out there, beat the crap out of each other. They're going to have a good match no matter what the stipulation is, what the outcome is. It's Sheamus, it's Rusev. It's a fail-safe. It's just and they're in a Donnybrook match, which is Sheamus's specialty. And for those that aren't familiar, Donnybrook match essentially was a bar. It was like an old-timey bar. It had Sheamus's old-timey face on a bar with some Prime bottles, which I thought was weird. Don't they have an alcohol partnership with Wheatley or something? They could have put some
you would have thought so.
Could have put some vodka out there. Don't they have a Fireball sponsorship? But either way, it was an interesting decision there. But these two, like I said, you name it, they did it. They beat the crap out of each other. Rusev threw Sheamus through the bar. That was a cool spot. The white noise off the barrels. Ultimately, Rusev picks up the victory with a accolade with a shillelagh across Sheamus's mouth. I think this was a much-needed win for Rusev. I think a lot of people said that as well. What were your thoughts going into this match, and then what did you think overall?
I agree 100% what you said as far as when you get these two together, you know what you're getting. When they showed all the props around the ring, you kind of knew, hey, more than likely, here's what they could be doing with these props. And they did, for the most part. I mean, they pretty much did them all. I thought it was interesting, though, a couple times when they were grabbing chairs. Why didn't you just use the bar stool? That would have been, it was just sitting there. I was like, use the bar stool. And then they tried to use it, then it didn't happen. But lots of beats of the Bowery.
On both sides. Sheamus used it. Rusev used it. Yeah, they were.
Yeah, I think four separate times, I think, tonight they did it. And the crowd was into it. That's the good thing. The crowd was definitely into this match. I honestly, this is probably, for the most part, this is my favorite match of the night, just because I just enjoyed it from beginning to end. Because, like you said, we knew what we were getting. They were laying in the punches. They were beating the crap out of each other because they're just two guys that's how they work, and it was beautiful. And at the end, the shillelagh across the mouth and the accolade, perfect. I mean, it was a lot of fun, and I'm happy Rusev won. Rusev needs to be that monster again, and I think we're working towards that. But I feel like Rusev he's always had so much potential, and now that he's back, we need to get him elevated again to where I think he could have always been. I always thought he was a main event picture guy, but
yeah, I did too. I was that guy too, and then with Sheamus, like it was like I said, it was like this. We had Rusev come back. He didn't really do a whole lot early on in his return. He did a little bit then, but Sheamus, it's like a revitalization. Like you could tell Sheamus is really loving this. Like I get this odd feeling though, Tyler, as much as I agree that Rusev needs to keep moving up this card, I got this weird feeling that they're going to make them a tag team.
Yeah, we talked about that in my live tonight.
Like
and
a friend of mine,
coming too.
You're a guy that I went to war with in a Donnybrook match, and then we're gonna have that interaction on Raw, and they're gonna let's go after the tag team champions because Lord knows they need something to do in that Raw division.
It's the bar 2.0.
Right, exactly. but I don't disagree. This is a match that no matter how many times they put it on, I don't think I've ever been disappointed. If they decide to go the tag team route, cool. I don't know necessarily what's next for Sheamus, but if I'm Rusev and they don't, book the tag team angle, I'd like him to give me something where he goes, I took care of Sheamus, a longtime foe. I'm ready to move on. Intercontinental Championship tomorrow night with AJ Styles and Dom. Maybe Rusev stakes claim to, hey, I want a shot at that. I don't know if it's too early, but I don't think so because that would be a great either next opponent for Dom or first challenger for AJ Styles.
Definitely. I agree 100%.
So if they're listening, which I don't know if they are, sign us up. We're here. We're right. We've got the pen. We'll take it over for you guys. We'll book it.
Yep.
But we're cruising. We're cruising. Like I said, we are definitely cruising a lot faster than the first hour of the show.
Yeah.
Because we're already at John Cena and Logan Paul. Unless I missed something. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, we're moving right along.
Yeah, we're cruising. We're moving right along. Like I said, this is after that first hour. This show kind of hummed. Mm-hmm. But it's John Cena's last European date. He's down to 9 after tonight, I believe. This is it. We have 9 more Cena matches. Last match in Paris, and Tyler, you heard it. The crowd went bananas.
They did.
There was very little. There was very little Cena sucks chants that I could hear because it was so overwhelming on the other side. I think the only Cena sucks chants I heard were coming from my couch, but that's just because I am a CM Punk guy.
Yeah, sure.
But I listen. I'm the type of guy that I appreciate what Cena's done for the business. I've his retirement tour. We could talk about whether it's been good or not because it's been all over the place. He made amends with the kid that he trashed in was that Brussels, I believe it was, and that kid's having the time of his life. But he's taken on Logan Paul, who they were friends a few months ago. Now they're foes. Cena thinks that if Logan could work hard, he'd be in the spot. John Cena pulled out all the stops. Now. Yes. In this story, I would like to believe it's because he pulled out all the stops because he couldn't put Logan away. But Wade Barrett made it sound on commentary that was just the evolution of John, and he's just he's got 9 dates left, and here he is doing Styles clashes. Like I don't think Wade that he was maybe Wade was drunk like you mentioned earlier in the night, but JPJ's in the house. And we got Joe saying South Carolina beat Virginia Tech 24-11. That makes sense. South Carolina's going to be pretty good. On National South Carolina Day, no mind you. But what did you think of John Cena's last match in Europe overall, this match? How did you feel?
So I'll just preface this by saying I don't really like Logan Paul. It's more of a person thing. I don't know if you know his history or whatever. But
yeah, no, for sure. For sure.
He can wrestle. And I was kind of disappointed when they actually announced this whole thing because I'm like, I want Cena to face someone else, or actual wrestler. But that being said, the match was pretty damn good. definitely you could tell. I liked a lot of the stuff they did. I liked Logan. The one thing is Logan's easy to hate, even as a wrestler. He's a great heel.
Yeah.
They did a lot of him stealing Cena's moves and stuff, and I mean, you could see Cena calling the match a few times in the ring. That was one of those production things. And then Logan completely missing the 5-knuckle shuffle on the ground. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah.
That was another.
I caught him miss the 5-knuckle shuffle, and then when Cena went for like the power bomb, or like he went for some move, and he's like, "No, you got to come closer in the corner." I was like, "Oh boy."
Yeah, you could see a few times him calling the match, but other than that, I mean, I thought it was an enjoyable match. It was exactly what you would expect out of a Cena match, and it got to the point where, I mean, Cena had to overcome, Cena had to fight back. That's prototypical Cena, and I thought it was executed fairly well, other than like those few little things. But I enjoyed it. It was still, I wouldn't say it was one of my favorite matches of all time, but it was a good match. It definitely was better than I enjoyed it more than the Nikki and the Becky match, but it was a solid match overall. And then, like you said, with the Brussels Kid, I feel really weird about that whole thing, because I feel like that's like one of those, like, you beat up your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't really mean that. I was having a bad day," type of thing. And I'm like, so you're just gonna forgive him? Like, and then one of my live people pointed out, when he was over there and he talking to him after the match, he had the shirt and he wanted to sign it, and then he went and kissed his wife, and then he's like, "Oh," the little kid like got all disappointed and stuff, and then you see him coming back, and he's like, "Nope, not signing it." It was weird, but
Roman Reigns is out there signing shoes, man. Sign the shirt.
Yeah, I know. It was enjoyable for the most part. So
I'm with you in that sense. The kid thing, the whole thing has been weird to me, because we didn't really explain why you linked with The Rock. We didn't really explain why you turned back to a face. I get it. You're trying to make amends on the end here. But overall, I'm just like, okay, so if I'm that kid, why am I just like, I guess it's because you're a kid, and you're just like, it's John Cena, and you're having the time of your life, so you're going to, forgive him. But I'm still sitting here trying to figure out how we even got to this point. Because, but whatever. I've been saying since the beginning of the year that this year of 2025, you kind of have to throw it out the window in terms of like what to expect, because it's not every year we have some, megastar, the GOAT, having his retirement tour thrown into plans that they probably had. But yeah, and again, I don't know how much John Cena and Logan Paul went over this match. I don't know how much that, but I know like this wasn't the greatest showing from Logan Paul. I know he got bloodied up too, which that spot was a little like I'm glad it was not as bad as it turned out. Looked. I thought, man, maybe he broke his nose, but it was just a little bloodied up. But yeah, I don't think anybody had any doubt that Cena wasn't leaving with his hand raised here as your new, as we get down to the end. I don't know if Michael Cole misspoke, but that's another one of these pre-show things that people kind of ran with. He said his last match will be in July. It's been advertised for December 13th. Did Michael Cole slip, or did he just make a mistake?
Yeah, interesting. I don't know.
They said 3 more months of Cena. Michael Cole said January, but maybe he just misspoke and he wasn't thinking, because the only thing I think you could see him being at in January would be the Rumble. But that's in Saudi this year, right?
That's true.
Rumbles in Saudi, so maybe the Saudi prince was like, "Hey, bud,
here's a bunch of money.
Hey, listen, I know you said the 13th of December, but hey, listen, how much do you like money?" And he'll be like, enough to do that. Squad saying that the Bella Lynch match was a whole episode of Botchmania. There was some spots in there. I don't get too upset about botches. I don't know how much, Squad, you're more of a Tyler Wrestles fan. You're not a Pluggo guy. But I understand that they happen. I don't think every match has to look clean and perfect and pristine. But yeah, there was some stuff to work on there. If they decide to run it back, we'll see. That could be another option. She could run it back with her. Maybe they'll have better chemistry second time around.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Joe saying he was shocked that John pulled off a couple different moves. Now, I got to ask before we move on to the main event of the evening, do you think Cena pulling off the Styles Clash was him saying, I want AJ Styles. Are we going to get an AJ Styles John Cena match in the next 9? You have to, right?
That's one on the card that I've wanted since he said he's going to be done. I'm like, AJ's got it. We got to have AJ before it's all said and done.
I mean,
I just feel like, yeah.
As soon as he hit the Styles Clash, the commentary's like, that was one of the best feuds John Cena's last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I agree.
Think about it. Like I said, AJ Styles has an Intercontinental Championship shot tomorrow afternoon, depending on where you're at. He wins the thing from Dominic Mysterio. John Cena going after the one belt he hasn't won. Tell me that doesn't write itself.
I think that's a perfect thing right there. So I'm all about it. I'm for it. I'm ready. Let's go.
I don't know if you'll do it at WrestlePalooza because I think there's still something looming there, which they didn't even bring up at Clash.
I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, they didn't mention his name once. And the name we're talking about is Brock Lesnar. Did not get mentioned at all. There was no mention of it. So I don't know if they've cooled down from the backlash that they got when he returned, or they're just trying to put him out of our minds. So when he does come back, we're like, oh yeah, that guy's still here. I don't know what it is. I have no insights. That's
I don't know.
I don't either.
Be interesting
because that was the rumored match for WrestlePalooza. So maybe Brock just wasn't available to go to Paris, so they thought, let's not even worry about it. Then maybe when they get back next, because I think if I'm not mistaken, he was advertised for the 12th and the 19th, and then Cena's also of September. So that would be the lead up to WrestlePalooza in Indianapolis.
Yes.
Chris is in the house saying, "Oh, never mind." I was gonna shout out a new viewer. Not cool. Not cool, man. Not cool. Very messed up. I gotta read these comments quick. I need a producer is what I need. Yeah, I need a proofreader.
Looks like they're Chicago September 5th is the next Cena appearance, so on SmackDown.
Yeah, I think the 5th and the 12th, and then
15th on Raw. That's what it is. I just pulled it up here quick.
Yeah, so there's still time to build it once they get back, if they want to build it. I don't know, but I'd rather see AJ Styles than Cena Palooza. But I think with the way that they announced, and that's the other thing, they announced, like I said earlier, they announced the Worlds Collide. They announced they're going back to Germany, in Europe, in England, in Paris, all that in 2026 on the road to the Rumble. They got WrestlePalooza, the biggest event in their history, as they're calling it. They call every event the biggest event in their history. They also announced that they beat Taylor Swift's attendance record tonight as well. You had to get the Taylor Swift shot in there. I'm doing a little housekeeping as we get to the main event. Which I was like, they gotta get Taylor Swift's name mentioned somehow. I didn't even know that Clash of Paris is the biggest attended show in that venue outside of Taylor Swift.
I can't believe it.
And then we are at the main event, so make sure you get your questions, comments, statements in if you have any left, your MVPs of the night, all that fun stuff. I'm going to ask Tyler what his MVP of the night is after we talk about the main event. I'm going to tell him now, give him a heads up to think about it. Jackie Redmond meets Seth Rollins backstage real quick and basically was like, what are you going to do? You got no one. And I really liked his response. And again, that was him being a heel, and I fell for it a little bit. But I really like if I can't win without these guys, maybe I shouldn't have this thing. And I was like, okay, maybe Seth is going to go out there and play this thing straight. Because if we remember the build to this match, he's done a masterful job of getting CM Punk angry at LA Knight angry at CM Punk. Jey Uso's got Roman Reigns in his ear saying, don't trust CM Punk. And then CM Punk's trying to rally all three of them to go to go against Seth. So if you think about it, all of the cards were there for Seth to play this one straight up and just do his thing. Now, obviously, he had an ace up his sleeve. And the man Becky Lynch came out and helped him retain. So he is still the world heavyweight champion. This match had everything. I thought this was a really well main event. I kind of figured Punk and LA Knight would take each other out of this thing. They did not. They all three did have some moments where they did gang up on Seth and really work on Seth. But then as soon as they go get the table, Jey Uso kicks CM Punk. And then all hell just kind of broke loose from there. LA Knight goes through the announce table. He's out of the match. And it's just Jay and it's Seth for a little while. Then Jay gets thrown out of the match, and then we see CM Punk and Seth, and that's where we landed. It was the two of them left, and it was perfect. I'm like, and then CM Punk gets the go to sleep, goes for a second go to sleep, and as soon as they zoomed into his face, I went, "Who's coming out? Who's coming out? Who's the next member of the Vision?"
Yeah.
Low blow, as JPJ said, AJ Lee possibly incoming.
Yeah.
Overall, what did you think of tonight's main event? I thought all four men looked good. I thought it felt a little fast-paced. Maybe they were running short on some time, but ultimately I didn't have any disappointment in how it ended.
So let me go back to when they did the interview with Seth. I kind of felt the opposite of you, because with him going, "Oh, I'm going to do it all alone," that made me feel even more like, hey, someone's coming to help him. Because they beat these little clues to a dead horse, as they say. That's the saying or whatever. Yep. But they like to do that a lot and put those in there, and then it made me think, oh man, someone's coming out. But like I said, I mean, we talked earlier. For some reason, I didn't think about Becky at all. But as far as the whole match goes, I enjoyed the match. I liked the little tribute to the Dudley Boys getting the table, and then Jay coming out of nowhere with the kick that kind of ruined it all for me, because I was really wanting to see the table go then. And then CM Punk sliding off the table when he goes through the table. But LA Knight, holy cow, that made up for it. He just destroyed that announce table.
Oh my god!
Later in the match, it was just brutal. And then they showed it like 5 times in a row. It was beautiful. I made a really.
I don't think he's ever gotten that much height on any jump he's ever done. He really laid out for it.
Yeah. And then go
on. No, you go on.
I was gonna go to something different. So
I was just going to piggyback off of you and let you know, for some reason, and I don't know what it is, in 2025, Seth Rollins has worked me a shit ton. I keep falling for this shit. The knee injury stuff, I was like, there's no way they're going to fake that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did. Yeah. And then it's like, he's going to come out and work his match by himself tonight. Yeah, he might do that. Show us how good he is. Nope, he didn't. Damn it, Seth. It's maybe because I'm a huge Seth Rollins fan. He's one of my favorite guys. So maybe I just fall for it, even though I shouldn't. I should be better about that, considering this is what I do for a living here, is talk about it. But hey, if I get worked, I go, you know what? Good on you.
And I agree, like you said, when CM Punk. Well, the other thing that I thought, I kind of made a comment about it, was Seth had the chair and he sets the chair up. And he slowly slides the chair to line it up with his head. I'm like, this is like kind of painful to watch, but I was like, really funny. Like, Seth is doing this just right, because I mean, it was entertaining, because it's like, you set the chair up and then you just slowly, like, you're lining it up and put it in there, and then builds up to this thing. CM Punk counters it, gets his first GTS, and then he magically bounces onto his back off the rope.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, as soon as they zoomed in, I'm like, okay, someone's coming. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, no, that's Becky Lynch. Just the body shape and stuff. I knew it the second I saw her standing there. And I'm like, oh, is that Becky? Is that Becky? Yeah, that's her. And then it was good. It was beautiful. I loved it, honestly. I'm glad it was Becky, honestly, for me, than some other male wrestler. I like whenever they involve the women in the men's stories and vice versa, or kind of intermingle them. And like someone said in the chat, and I made a video about quickly also before, right the second I got off, I gotta think this is setting us up for CM Punk and AJ Lee and Becky and Seth at WrestlePalooza. I just feel like that is the big return that will gain some viewers for them. I just feel like it's coming, and it's just the one people have wanted for so long. Like you said, it's the CM Punk return that they want.
AJ posted a picture a couple days ago, and she's jacked, she's still in shape. I have a feeling she could still go. I think CM Punk has alluded to, like, whenever April, as he calls her, he doesn't call her by her gimmick name, but his wife is April. If she wants to come back, then it's on the table, but it's up to her. I can't imagine. We'll have to see how this vision thing plays out with Becky. Now, like I said, I've always thought because Becky mentioned Seth a lot more than Seth mentioned Becky in his promos. Like, I don't think he rarely ever mentions her, but she does. So I was like, okay, so now we've got this faction of Paul Heyman, Becky Lynch. If she's officially just going to become part of this, which I think why not? I think it'd be a fun thing to do. And then you got Bronson and Braun on the background there, and then CM Punk. All right, listen, because now he can't take care of Becky Lynch himself. WWE does not do intergender like that. They don't, they're not. Which I don't mind intergender wrestling, but I know that they stay away from for sponsorships and things like that. So yeah, hey, listen, WrestlePalooza, or whatever you want to do, whether it be WrestlePalooza, War Games, whatever. I got the perfect person right here. And if they wanted to do a War Games match where AJ Lee was a part of it with Becky in the full division versus, but again, I kind of want to steer away from that a little bit because I think how many, is LA Knight going to put his differences aside? All the baby faces were just here tonight.
Yeah.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, I enjoyed the show overall. Like you said, there was a few production issues. There was a few missed spots. But I think if we were to comb through any wrestling show, you'll find that. And so I ultimately didn't think it was anything that took away from the enjoyment. The crowd was hot. We might be getting AJ Lee back, so now I'm even more fired up. Becky Lynch is in the vision, which needed to be a thing a long time ago. Tomorrow night's going to be an interesting night on Raw. So Tyler, that was Clash at Paris. What I like to do on the Pluggo PLE show, the Triple P, is I like to ask you who your MVP of the night was in match or moment. It doesn't have to be a match if you can't think if a moment stood out over. But who's your MVP tonight?
Thinking about this, honestly, I think it's Becky Lynch.
Yeah,
I think she was a big part of her match in carrying. I wouldn't say, I'm not going to say the carrying the match thing, but she definitely had a lot to do with that match because I think Nikki's still getting back up to speed 100% on things. But then just being that big sticking point in the main event and what happened in the main event, I feel like that's just huge. And that's why I'm going with Becky for my MVP of the night, I would say, for me. But
and
there's a lot of people that you could go though too. So,
yeah. And traditionally, I like to go with a different person just because I like to not, piggyback off of my guest thunder here. But it has to be Becky Lynch for overall the impact that she had throughout the night, winning her title, and then helping Seth win his title. For match of the night, I'm going to go with Sheamus and Rusev. I think that was a fun, fantastic. Again, for me, it's just it's consistent. It's perfect. You put it on, it works for me every time. That's definitely a Pluggo style match. Overall, we're on the road to WrestlePalooza officially now.
Yeah.
So I'll just make this announcement here while I have so many awesome people in the chat, which thank you for bringing your crowd over tonight, Tyler. Thank you for everybody that hung out. I'll let you plug your stuff here in a second, but I'm still up in the air on what we're going to do for WrestlePalooza / All Out. It's at the same time. Traditionally, I don't know how that would work, and I'm also, since it's in my backyard, in my home state, I might be trying to make the trip out to WrestlePalooza. So we'll see. Stay tuned for that. But Tyler, I appreciate you coming out tonight, hanging out on this holiday weekend. I know it's college football. We both were talking about Notre Dame. We got to get out of here and we'll watch our Irish beat up on Miami. Hopefully, at least my Irish. I hope you're I hope you're a fan too. We'll go ahead and plug your stuff and we'll get you out of here.
I guess I'm Tyler Wrestles on pretty much every social media platform. I do live watch-alongs, Raw, SmackDown, AEW Dynamite, NXT occasionally, and until football's over, then I'm going to try to get back into TNA again because I started doing TNA and I love TNA. But other than that, I post videos on TikTok, Twitch, or TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all the sites. I'm on all the sites, and you can find all those links on TylerWrestles.com. So,
yes, you can. And you know what, squad? No, thanks for Tyler for coming on. Like, I will have Tyler on anything at any time. I'm just happy that he has time for a guy like me. But for those that know me, you already know at Pluggo on all social media platforms. You search Pluggo, my face pops up on all those platforms. Every Thursday night, I'm right here at Love Wrestling with JPJ doing the flagship show Between Two Beards at B2Beards on all social media. This week, we got Graham Matthews of Wrestle Rant joining us. We'll probably talk about the fallout from Clash and what happens this week in wrestling. Every Saturday morning, I'm right here as well with Blair Pacheco doing 4 Exposure, where we talk the world of independent wrestling. My writings are up on lovewrestling.ca right now, and I have a couple of interviews out there. I got one with Wells Mania that's out there right now. I was on his show this week. Check that out. Juan Breezy's going to drop one here in a couple of days. I had an interview with him. So go check out all those people. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow. Yeah, you know what? Again, thank you for coming, Joe. Thank you, Tyler, for being here. I love that they're thanking me for having you on. Like, you're the man. But no, like I said, stay tuned to our socials, for my socials, to see what we decide to do next month with the Triple P. I don't know yet. If I'm not in Indianapolis, I will probably dual watch and do this. But if I am, then I'm just going to be partying at WrestlePalooza. But thank you once again, Tyler. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Make sure you go follow Love Wrestling CA on all social medias as well. Until next month, friends, we are out of here. Peace.